You need to learn a skill, guys. A skill that you can actually be paid for. But here's the tricky thing. Learning skills is not the same as making money. Why? Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard this before. Learn a skill. Learn a skill. If you need to make money, you need to learn a skill. And that's not false. That's absolutely true. But I'm sure at the same time, a lot of you have also learned some skills. You have watched videos online. You followed tutorials. You maybe enrolled in some courses. Maybe you've been reading. Maybe you've been following the right people in that field. And you have some sense of progress. Now, learning a skill is one thing, but making money is another. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the second thing, making money. How do you make money with your skills? I know a lot of you here are talented You guys are talented. You guys have the skills, whatever that might be, whether that's web design, whether that's making apps, whether that's development, whether that is 3D. You guys have the skills, but you're not making money yet. And here's the simple thing to understand. The simple thing that makes this very, very clear. People will pay you for the skills you already have to solve the problems that they have right now. Let's break that down. Number one, people will pay you for the skills you already have. So, people are not going to pay you just because I am learning to be a designer. They are paying you for the skills you already have as a designer. You might be looking at this, you might be thinking about this and you're like, isn't that such a chicken and egg problem? Unless somebody actually gives me experience, how do I apply for jobs that ask you for experience? And that's totally normal. Let's break it down even further. If you are at a point where you do not have the skill, then you have to go through this initial zone where you're building it up, you are learning, but watching tutorials, following the right people. So, every single day you're hearing about the news in that industry and, maybe enrolling in some Udemy courses probably will not give you that sense of forward progress. Forward progress only comes from working on projects with the level of seriousness that somebody would actually be paying you. So what that means is if there's a personal project that you're working on, you are working on it with the seriousness of I need to deliver because somebody is paying me for this. And if I don't deliver, it's a loss of money and it's a loss of reputation. It's a loss of future clients and projects from this person. That's the level of seriousness, real stakes that forces you to move, that forces you to create momentum. Because if you're working on projects on yourself, it's very easy to say, okay, I'm not going to do this tomorrow. Or I've done this much. Isn't that enough? And the minute that question comes in your head, isn't that enough? You're going to be thinking about, you know what that feeling is? It's your mind coming up with a justification for why it's okay to half-ass something. It's not unique to you, my friend. I do the same thing. But we all want to make progress, right? That progress comes when things are real. For a lot of us who've been through the school system, right? Indian education system, you know that a lot of times you and I were motivated not by the carrot, which is I'm going to get this reward, but we're motivated by the stick, which is if I don't do this, I'm going to fail this exam. I'm going to have to go back and show my parents this. That's the stick, right? Reward and punishment are two types of motivators. Sometimes reward is a good motivator. All of us want to make money. We want to be in a career that pays us, that lets us afford the lifestyle we want to have and meet the people we want to be connected with, right? That's a reward. And you can always think about that and that's motivating. But sometimes that's just not enough. Sometimes you actually need the stick. You need the punishment that gets you out of a certain zone. And unfortunately, sometimes the stick is might be the thing that's more effective, which is you need a certain sense of fear that something is real for it to compel you into action, right? The equivalent of this would be you're studying. Yeah, you're studying, but the last day of the exam, that's something that's real. You now need to put everything in and just do it. I have this crazy experience that I still remember from 10 years ago, which is the 24 hours around an exam were so, my mind would just be on, dude. I would have ideas. I would be like, oh my God, this, that. And my mind would be so active. It would be lit up. Coming back to the point, you want to make money, you have to have a skill. And people who have certain problems, right? People need a designer. People have a project coming up. Maybe there's a date and they need to launch something. Maybe they are not happy with where they are and they want to get here, right? Whether this is freelance that you're going after or it's an internship or a full-time job, people are paying you to do certain amount of work. And The unfortunate truth, but the very real truth, is that you're not paid on your potential. You are not going to be paid on your potential. You're going to be paid for what you already have. You will be paid for the skills you already have, for problems that are immediate for the client or the person who's paying you money. So what does that mean? Get over that initial zone where you might not have any skills in the area you want to get into. Understand that not everything moves you forward. You might have subscribed to 5 design YouTubers. You might be following them on Twitter. You might be, enrolled in 7 Udemy courses. That's not enough for progress. You sometimes need that motivation of a deadline. And you need to get creative with how can you manufacture that for yourself, or be in a community that helps you do that. But once you have these skills, making money is another skill, as you will realize. Making money, it's not as simple as I have the skill. Now, why isn't anybody paying me for it? Some of you might be at this level, right? You've built up that initial and now you're at this level. And you're like, why don't I make money? And here's the very crazy part about this. Making skills is a never-ending task. And sometimes what people do is they mistake the idea of building skills with making money. So they might go so deep that they want to make money, but they don't want to directly work on the skill of making money. So they might go so deep in the skills thing and just end up lost. So let me give you an example. Maybe you started this with web design. You're like, I really want to make websites. And then you learned Figma. You started making websites. You learned Framer, right? You're like, wow, I can actually no code make websites that I can actually launch with Framer. And Figma to Framer, you're doing this and you're making some websites, and now suddenly you realize, bhai, if I knew 3D, agar 3D aata mujhe, my websites would be so good. I would add that ooh and the ooh, right? Or if I knew motion design, god damn, what I would do to my websites if I knew motion design, bro. And so you get into that thing where you're like, okay, let me learn 3D. Then you get into the discovery phase. What are the 3D tools available? Which is good or which is bad? What is faster to learn? Then who can I trust within that 3D space? Who do I follow? Whose tutorials do I see? Then what's the duration of this, right? It's fractal. Every time you click something, you're entering into a new folder structure where there are 10 more things to click. You click, you're entering into folder structure, and at any time you can come out, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with learning skills. Now with some of these AI tools coming out, I'm sure all of you want to exercise and use these AI tools to make amazing stuff as well. Nothing wrong with that, right? That's how we push our zone of creativity. That's how me, for example, I got comfortable talking on video here in front of you. If you go back on my channel, some of my earliest videos, I was not like that. And that was a grind. It took time. But those skills will not still make you money. It might increase your chances of getting lucky, right? You increase your quality. Let's say people see your work. Maybe you do get lucky. But if your goal is really to make money, you have to understand that making money is a skill. And let me break it down in a very simple way for you to understand. Your work, you need to have skills already. That's the first thing we've established. Number 2, your work should be out there doing the work for you of being discovered. It's the equivalent of if I had a shop on MG Road, my storefront would be decorated to attract people. Now, the equivalent of that online is I have to put my work out on the internet in the cyberspace that somebody walking across is like, hey, that looks like a cool website. Who did that? And then they click, they find this, they find that, and then they want to reach out to you, right? That is your top. That's your discovery. But beyond that, you can do a lot of things that help you fasten this process, right? What you want is from that discovery, somebody walking and they see your work, to them actually paying you for works that you can actually do and deliver. You want to shorten that process. And here's one way you can think about this. Use some of these design skills to think about what is this journey? What is this customer journey from them finding your work to them actually paying you? And go deep into this journey, zoom into this. So what this looks like is if somebody reads your case study and they're the kind of person who is probably hiring right now or knows somebody who is hiring, the next thing they would do would probably be send you an email. Now, when they send you that email, you see it a couple hours later, you think about what to reply. You reply to them, they see it a couple hours later. You see how long this is, this journey? How can you squeeze this? How can you make it dead simple for people to reach out to you? one thing you can do is your case studies. And this is something you can do right now, right after this video. In your case studies, at the end, add a call to action. And your call to action is not, I'm looking for a design internship, reach out to me if you're interested. Because as we just saw, that can take a long time. And then you schedule a call and then the call doesn't happen. Right? Nobody has that time. So much can go off during this time, right? Change that CTA to book a discovery call with me. Just to give you an example, book a 15-minute discovery call with me to see if you would like working together. Now, what are you doing here? You're shortening that flow. In the end, the person has to get on a call to ask you your skills, talk about the project, you get to know each other, some trust is built. After that, there's a second call. You say, this is how much it'll cost. Maybe you send them a proposal or whatever, but you're shortening that process. Now, as you shorten this process, book a discovery call with me. Suddenly, you, my friend, are a business. You have just set up the bare minimum of what it takes to run a business. You have leads. These leads that through your storefront, through the work that you're put out, these leads, some percentage of these leads get converted, right? They book that call with you. It's a 15-minute call. You just set up a Calendly link, right? But now they book that call on your calendar. You get on that call. You ask them questions. You say, hey, what are you looking for? How can I help you? What has your progress been so far? Where are you in the journey? You have a set of questions. Standardize these questions. Write them down. Any discovery call, have a paper next to you, have a screen open that has these questions that you can ask them, right? Go through these. What are you looking for? Are you looking for freelancers? Okay. Do you have a current existing design team? All right. Do you have an allocated budget for this? How important is this to you? Is this a project you've been planning for a while? Why have you not done this project already if it's so important? How important is this to your business? How exactly is it that important to your business? Right? These are all kinds of questions you can ask. Now, let's say this is a 15-minute discovery call. Of course, you probably cannot be the only person asking these questions. They want to ask you a couple questions too. Maybe you make it a 30-minute call, right? But this is you thinking about your customer journey and designing for it. This is your bare minimum business. Right? If you have this really good case study that's out there and you have 2 of these and you have 5 of these, today, as we are watching this, you watching me on this video, I'm not here right now. I recorded this in advance, but here we are talking to each other, right? What you say now in my comments, I will read this. We now have this relationship. Similarly, when you put your work out there, it does the work of getting you discovered. Your case study is out there showing the work that you did even when you're asleep. And when you have this kind of booking call, let's just say book a discovery call, you can, for example, start to get slowly but steadily a supply of leads. Now, the more work you put out there, you can actually see this change. So let's say in a week, maybe 2 people reach out to you, and the next week, maybe 2 more. You now have a consistent flow of leads, people who are potential clients who thought about paying you money. They thought about it. Now you are slowly taking them through this journey that you have designed, where you're asking them these questions. And then after the discovery call, you reach out to them with your proposal. So you put together in Notion a simple 1-pager, which has these headings. Quick tip, use Notion AI if you're not so sure about this, right? Ask a couple questions to this Notion AI or Chat GPT. What should my proposal have? But in general, what you're doing is you are synthesizing. You are synthesizing the conversation you had with this person, all the things that were said, the future outcomes that we talked about. What should this project be doing? Why are we doing this project? What does success look like? And you're saying, hey, I can do this for you. And this is how much it's going to cost you. For this, you can be looking at an investment of 20,000 rupees a week, 50,000 rupees a month, 5 lakh rupees a quarter, 10 lakh rupees a quarter. You work your way up. Now, how do you know, or what's the way to get to these higher and higher levels, right? The way you get to that level is you have to judge your supply and demand, right? Supply and demand, there is an elasticity associated. What do I mean by that? If you have a bunch of work out there and a bunch of, let's say, happy clients, 1 year down the line, 2 year down the line, you're going to get more people trying to book a discovery call with you, right? Now, let's say in a week, from that to a week initial, you are now getting 10 messages every week, right? Not all of these are equally motivated. Not all of them, maybe, some of them don't show up or whatever, but you're getting 10 now. You now have more demand than you can supply, which is you can now start getting picky. You can start saying no to the ones which are very obviously, not people you want to work with, people who maybe don't have the kind of budget, the kind of money you want to earn. Maybe they are looking for somebody who just gets the work done at the lowest cost, right? And you are trying to make some high quality work that costs money, it takes time. You can now start saying no. So as that demand goes up, you can now get picky. And now you have more paths available. You can start referring these clients to your friends, right? That is a great way to build a network where all of you are, let's say, winning together. You can start sharing this with people who you think can do the work. You can also start saying, hey, can we team up? Now that you have a consistent flow of clients, what you can start to do is say, I'm going to hire my first person. This may be a designer, maybe a developer, whatever you think is the next complementary skill that you need to hire for, right? Maybe you want to hire a video editor who helps you make really good videos so that more people see your work, and then that leads to more discovery calls, whatever. That, my friends, is how you set up your one-person business. That is how you think about these concepts of supply and demand. You, as a business, are responsible for generating your own demand, right? Nobody is going to send clients away for free, right? Maybe if you're lucky every once in a while. But the more work you put out there, the more touch points you have out in the world that are saying, hey, check out this person who's doing this cool stuff. And here's the CTA where I can actually get on a call with them. I hope that gave you a lot of ideas to think about. My intention with making this video today for you is I want more of you to go from I am learning skills from here to I'm actually making money with my skills. Now, although I'm a UI UX designer, right? And most people that are probably watching this are designers. You can apply this framework that we talked about today to pretty much any service. You are generating demand for it, or even a product if you would like. You're generating this demand by putting this out. You are building this flow of leads. This is the input to your business. You are figuring out the processes to get inputs from the clients and figure out what exactly it is that they want. You're figuring out what kind of proposal do I send them. And then you are converting some of these folks into clients. You are saying, make me an upfront deposit right now. Here's my invoice and we can get started. Play this out a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, 5, 10, 15 years later. I want you to be in a position where you have all of this historical proof of work. You have testimonials and goodwill from the great work that you've done for clients. You've got a peer network, designers who are also doing this kind of stuff, developers, video editors, other related fields, people who you can collaborate with. And with this income, you now are able to create the lifestyle you want, work with amazing, interesting clients, and figure out what's the next step. So I hope you found that interesting. And if you're interested in becoming a designer, if you're interested in kickstarting your design career with a group of individuals just like you, have a look at the 10K Designers cohort. Link is down here. If you want to also check out what other 10K Designers alumni are up to, check out the Design Journeys playlist on our channel, and you can always do a search on LinkedIn and reach out to them, talk to them. Zarur support karo naya video, like, share, comment, zarur karo. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you can see our upcoming videos. We have live streams that we're doing every single Wednesday, so catch you for one of those. Peace.